Today we're going to be playing one of the opening scenarios for Chronicles of Crime 1400, right after this. Hey everybody, Sam here from the Tabletop Hub, your one-stop shop for all things tabletop, and today, very excited to be giving you a solo playthrough. Unfortunately it's solo, just because of everything that's going on. I wanted to try and play this game and play some more games here for the channel, but obviously we can't have a lot of people around to play these games. So we're taking the opportunity for me to try out some of my more solo games, like Chronicles of Crime, the Millennium series, and the first one in that series, which is 1400. This was a Kickstarter, I think it was last year. The guys have done a great job at Lucky Duck Games in actually, I think this actually shipped early. I think it was meant to actually ship next year, and things just went really, really well with them. Everything was ahead of schedule and they shipped it out. We've got our hands on it. 1400 is the only one in the series that's now been added to the Chronicles of Crime app, which you'll be seeing today through the wonders of technology. But it is a solo game. It can be played 1 to 4 players. And I thought, you know what? I really love the Chronicles of Crime series. We'll play a little scenario for you all today. But one thing that I am equally aware of is that the Chronicles of Crime series is very much you can certainly replay it if you play a scenario wrong, and anybody who's played the first Chronicles of Crime will know what I mean through that, but there are going to be spoilers. So if you are going to be picking up this game and you don't want any spoilers, it's probably not a great idea to watch this video. However, if you haven't played a Chronicles of Crime game and you want to kind of see what the gameplay is like and get a taste for one of the new games in the franchise, definitely give it a watch. One thing I will say is I'll probably play through a couple of the scenarios here in the channel. I'm not going to play through all of them so that the entire game isn't ruined, but I do want to try and kind of showcase a few of you, and as the 2400 and 1900 get added to the app as well, I'll be sure to play at least 1 or 2 scenarios from those games as well. It's just to give you a little taste of the Chronicles of Crime series. They're fantastic games, but I'm going to stop rambling. We're going to get stuck into the game itself. So for those of you who have never played the Chronicles of Crime series, as you can see through my other camera here, this is our board. So I've got the rules standing by just in case we need them. This is kind of the board that's set up for filming. This isn't really how you would have it set up if you're playing on a larger table, but because I'm filming this and I'm on my own, it's going to look super messy. But it's a combination between what you've got on the board here and what you've got on the app, which through the magic of I was going to say the internet, through the magic of editing, will appear on screen as we're playing. We're going to be playing through the Missing Pages scenario today, which is the first one in the 1400 series. It's also an easy one to kind of ease us in. So the synopsis here is that a young scribe has been murdered at a secular scriptorium who would benefit from the death of a man who spent most of his life buried in books. So let's jump in and you'll see how this actually all works with the game. Oh, you've denied permission to access your camera. Okay, yeah, I'll let you in the camera. Don't worry, Chronicles of Crime. You can access the camera and all the selfies that come along with it. You'll see how this game works as we play through. So, during the night, you have another strange dream containing visions of crimes that will haunt you until you solve the mystery behind them. Take vision cards 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so there's 2, 3, 4 and 5, yep. And put them face up on the table. So I'll show these for you. This is card 2. It's just it's a man scribing. Card 3, which is, sorry, the way that this other camera is angled, it's hard for me to see it at the same time. Let me just move in a little bit. So, yes. Card 3, 4, guy looks a little bit suspicious in the ale house, I assume, and 5, which looks like a woman who's about to be beaten with a bat. Doesn't look great. Okay. Oh, why are you out? I'll put you over here. Right. As you expect, early in the morning, a messenger appears at the door of your family house, which is this right here. And we'll chat to the monk, merchant, and spy as we go. He carries grim news. There was a murder in a secular scriptorium. Oh, Ow. In the Quartier Latin. Okay, which is I, which is this one. So the great thing about this, there's a number of locations. All of the locations have a little bit of information on them. You'll see obviously the letter which corresponds to what we're looking for, and then the QR code, which is how you actually let the game know and how you interact with certain aspects as well. I'm going to set it over here. The owner of the scriptorium, Bertram Castanier, maybe I pronounced that right? 21. So again, we look for card number 21. And this is Bertrand. I'll show it to you guys here as well. There he is. Obviously a monk. We'll set him on the location because we know that he is there. He's an old friend of our father. One of his scribes was murdered, and although the guards are already looking into it, he believes they are neglecting the case and wants someone he trusts to investigate the crime. Okay. You have to find out who murdered the scribe, and when you feel you know who the killer is, we should get back to our home and report the findings to our family so they can inform the authorities. Okay, so what we want to do is obviously investigate. We're going to want to start asking questions. So just so our above camera can see this, what we want to do is, using the app here, you can see the camera is live and it'll scan in QR codes. We need to use the QR codes in the camera on the app to access different pieces of information. So we are here at the scriptorium, and we want to, obviously the first thing we want to do is try and find out some information about what happened and who was murdered, etc. So what we're going to do is we want to ask, I can't even remember his name now, we want to ask our family friend some questions. So the way we do that is we hold the phone over the monk and we hold to scan. No one's corresponding to this description here. Oh, because we haven't gone to location yet, which is a perfect opportunity for me to explain deeper how these mechanics work. At the moment, we're at home. I should have remembered that. I've gotten ahead of myself. We need to go to the scriptorium and then ask the person. So as far as the app knows, we're still at home. The monk isn't at home with me. So what we're actually going to do is go to the scriptorium. There we go. So we arrive at Bertrand's scriptorium and enter the workshop where the victim's body, number 18, lies on the floor. Bertrand, 21, that's his name, and his wife, oh, number 18, you see that? Is the same as the guy in our vision. Coincidence? I think not. Bertrand, his wife, number 11, is that Bertrand's wife? Must be. There's no way. Oh, maybe Bertrand. Bertrand, that's your wife, Bertrand? She seems very young. There we go. Oh, and the Châtelet Sergeant, number 12, are also here. Okay, so these three people are alive. This guy's dead. This is our scribe. So the sergeant gives you a nasty look and continues searching the room. Okay. So we can search for the scene, which I suppose we probably should. So this is going to be the frantic bit, but it should look kind of cool for you guys at home. Whenever we search the scene, it goes into a really awesome AR mode kind of thing. I'll just show you. So we're going to search the scene. We're going to do this. Hopefully my cables won't disconnect. We're going to do this without 3D goggles. This is going to look ridiculous for you guys watching me at home. Okay, so basically we just say what we see. So there's a broom, some books, pile of papers, lots of papers, candles. There's a treasure chest, not a treasure chest, a chest. There's our victim, doors. Sorry, I should really be up. I'm getting up. Yeah, a lot of books. Oh, there's a like cross thing, necklace. A lot of blood. Yeah, I think we've seen everything that we need to. So you'll see there us doing that progress time, and that is kind of like our I was going to say player counter. It's not a player counter, but that's our kind of like measurement of progression throughout the game. Everything you do in this game takes time, both literally as we do it, but equally it progresses time in the game itself. And some things, as you progress into harder scenarios, you'll be given very strict deadlines of when you need to get things done. So let's now look through our clue deck to find some of the things that we saw in there. So parchments and papers, we definitely saw those. I don't know if we saw footprints and traces. We're going to include that, maybe that could be for the blood. Didn't see vehicles, well, blood and organs. Bottles, there were bottles on the windowsill, I think. No medicine and drugs, no shields. Decorative items and jewelry, because I don't know which category that necklace will come into. Didn't see melee weapons. Furniture, ranged weapons. Letters and messages, I think, could be among the papers. Keys and locks. I suppose we could inspect the doors. Put that there anyway. Devotional objects. Oh. Right. I mean, we'll put that there as well. Paintings and drawings. I don't think so. Kitchen. Doors and windows as opposed to keys and locks, I think. Doors and windows. Books, definitely. Writing tools, material, definitely. Bedding. Clothes, maybe. Search his clothes. Tools, bags and sacks, sorry. Games and toys, plants, toiletries, flammables, trash, boxes, signs and symbols, coins. Okay, so basically, we now have to try and whittle down which one of these clues, this is the way I do it, which one of these clues are most important and which ones we want to start with. So I think parchments and papers, blood and organs, jewelry, and if that's not right, we want to do decorative items. Writing tools and materials, and then maybe letters and messages, books, doors and windows. Yeah, so that's kind of our hierarchy of where we want to go with this. So now we just begin scanning them all in. So parchments and papers, a few sheets of paper, some filled with writing. To learn more, scan the letters and messages category card, which we have. Perfect. So let's scan that one. A set of papers is lying on the desk. Among them, you find a letter written in the name of a local tavern owner. Maybe this guy. The author asks for news about a shipment of Burgundy wine that never arrived at the tavern. So we found a clue, which is letters and messages. So we'll keep that there. So you can see now why it wouldn't look this messy if you had it organized properly, but for me, this is just how we're going to do it. We can probably get rid of parchments and papers then, because that led us on to an actual clue. Let's do blood and organs. The blood comes from a severe head wound, which seems to be inflicted by blunt force. The sergeant interrupts you. You should leave this investigation to the professionals, he says, and leaves the workshop. Interesting. So, blunt force trauma to the head was how he was killed. Jewelry. Yeah, the cross line on the floor is decorated with jewels. To learn more, scan the devotional objects category card. I'm loving that, by the way. In the original Chronicles of Crime, they wouldn't have given you prompts of like, hey, we know what you're trying to look for. This is actually the card you should go for. So I greatly appreciate that, because sometimes it can be tricky to know. It's sometimes the kind of like give and take you will experience with this game, especially the first edition. Like the first edition of Chronicles of Crime is, you know what you would class an item as, but what would the game creators / the app class that thing as, if that makes any sense. So, okay, so devotional objects, or no, not decorative items, devotional objects. There we go. So a jeweled cross is lying on the floor of the workshop, not too far from the victim's body. The question is, if it was just a straight up robbery, why wouldn't they have taken the cross? Because it looked quite expensive, you know? Footprints and traces. Nothing. Okay. So as you can see, it's now 7:55. It's taking us 5 minutes to inspect each one of these things. Writing tools and materials. Nothing in this category? Maybe it's books? There was also that chest. Several books are scattered across the floor and the book stand is empty. There is no sign of the illustrated book you saw in your dream. Did I see a book in my dream? Hold on, let me see if there's something that would class as chests. Trash. Boxes. Boxes and packages. There we go. Because there's bound to be something in that. Okay. A small decorated wooden box with carvings depicting a group of dancers. Inside you find a lock of dark hair. Okay. So we don't need the furniture one. That was just in case. So let's do doors and windows. Nothing in this category here, which means then there's probably nothing suspicious about any of the doors or windows inside the room. Clothes. The victim's simple clothes are covered in blood. Nothing interesting. Okay. I think there were bottles in the windowsill. Nothing. Okay. And I don't think we need to look at decorative items. I think we're fine. Okay, so we've gotten some information, some of the clues there. Let's start asking questions to the people who are here, and we'll start off with Bertrand? It was. So Bertrand, I'm glad you're here. I hope you and your four-legged friend will help explain this hard situation. We have a dog, by the way. It's not some kind of weird Middle Ages mutation. It's not that kind of game. Please ask me anything you need. Okay. So, as you can see now up at the top of the screen, we have Bertrand's name, which means that we're in conversation with him. So we can now scan any of these items and that'll be us asking him about them. The only thing we can't scan is a location because that'll just take us there. So let's ask him about the scribe. I still can't believe this has happened. His name was Antoine. He was my best scribe. Young, dedicated, hardworking. I can't imagine running the workshop without him. I admit I allowed him to take some side jobs. Different people were coming to him, sometimes even at night. That's Bertrand. That's just sketchy. It didn't seem that strange at first. Come on, because he often worked late. Then I noticed these people seemed a bit thuggish, especially one of them, number 16. Okay. Is it the guy in the tavern? No, it's Jesus. So we don't know where he is. We'll just place him over here. I warned Antoine not to deal with people of that sort. He was rather withdrawn and rarely explained himself, but I was fine with that as long as he got his work done. He seldom left the workshop, even though he had a place in La Grande Boucherie, which is at J. So he had a place there. Recently, he's been focusing on one particular book, a richly illustrated tome, number 1. But I'm not sure what it was about. I'm not sure what it was about or who gave him that job. Interesting. Illustrated book. Let's ask him about letters and messages, see if he knows any more about this wine and stuff. I doubt he will. It's one of the documents copied for site. The tavern mentioned in the letter is located at the Rue de la Porte Montmartre, which is an N. Perfect. I assume that Mr. Tavern Man will be there, but... devotional objects? Yes, I remember this. It belonged to Antoine. He received it as a gift from a relative or maybe a patron, I'm not sure. I know it's unusual to see such valuable jewellery in the hands of a scribe. I mean, it wasn't just plain robbery. But Antoine never explained himself and I never asked. I'm sure he was wearing the cross last time I saw him, which was yesterday. Interesting. I don't think... Well, let's... We could ask him about number 16, the dodgy guy, and we could ask him about his wife. Look at me silently with a daring smile. The next day I warned Antoine, but he assured me everything was fine. I guess that wasn't true. Okay, so he doesn't really know much about that. That's my lovely wife. She helps me with running the scriptorium, and I don't know what I'd do without her. She was the one who found the body. I scolded her for going all by herself. What if the killer had still been there? I didn't hear anything as I usually sleep like a dead man. Pardon me, not the best choice of words in this situation. Okay, I think we've gotten everything we need out of him. Let's talk. Pardon me, let's talk to the wife. Hope I can help somehow. Were they having an affair, I wonder? Found him dead in his workshop. It was late at night and I heard sounds of fighting. Ran to see what was happening, but the doors between our house and the workshop were locked. When I came back with the spare key, it was already too late. Antoine was dead and the door leading to the street was open. I didn't see the killer. My husband had a high opinion of the scribe, but I think he was up to something, working at night, meeting with strangers, doing other jobs. He pretended to be shy and hard-working, but I saw him meeting a young woman. There's always a woman. That's not how a decent man behaves, is it? Well, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Marie, you're absolutely right. Okay, so let's ask her about the authorities. Seems rather unpleasant. Yeah, that's fine. It's just in case he's left. Can I ask her about the book? It's one of his additional commissions. Right, we'll ask her about the woman. Young woman about 25 years old. Antoine never spoke of her, but it was obvious there was something going on. What kind of woman freely visits a man at night? Gosh. The dark hair could be hers. Huh. Marie reacts nervously. Why would I know anything about it? A lock of hair? Maybe it belongs to the young woman who visited Antoine so often. Was she going to Antoine's office because she heard fighting, or was she going there for a late night canoodling session? Oh. Oh. Interesting. I don't think there's anything else we need from here. I would like to go home and ask the monk about the book. Yeah. And maybe ask the spy about these other people. Alternatively, we can go to the tavern, which is at N, and go to Antoine's house, which is at J. Let's go to Antoine's house first. So let's clear this little group of people. We'll put them over here. Flip this over, and we will go to J. You can't wander around aimlessly without knowing a specific... I suppose we know he had a place here, but that was about it. We'll go to N then. Actually, no, we'll go home. And we'll ask the monk about the book. Such commissions are not usually given to a scribe working in a private scriptorium. It requires a lot of work and takes months to finish. Only someone wealthy could afford such an endeavour. Okay. Merchant, can you tell me more about the lock of hair, maybe? Isn't very common, but sometimes a lock of hair is given to a loved one and kept in a box. The box itself is a fine piece of work, not very expensive, but something in reach of a Parisian burgher. So again, somewhat wealthy, right? Spy. Find this woman for me, can you? Can I help you? They say the king's spies know every person in Paris, but that's always not true. What about this guy? Raoul Le Bon is a leader of a local gang. They operate in Paris, but also maintain contacts outside the city. Mostly they deal in smuggling, but it's said they attack especially valuable merchant caravans if the opportunity arises. You can probably find him somewhere around the cemetery at G. What if Raoul Le Bon was smuggling wine for Antoine? What if that's got something to do with it? Thank you, dear spy. Let's go to the tavern at N. See if we can find out more about the wine that was missing. So the tavern occupies the lower floors of an old townhouse squeezed between surrounding buildings. Entering, you're welcomed by suspicious looks from its shady regulars. A woman in her 40s is standing behind the counter. Hello, sweetie. I usually don't allow dogs in my tavern, but I can make a small exception. So tell me, what brings a renowned knight such as yourself to my place? Well, madam, I'm actually here investigating letters and messages? No, well, we'll ask her about this guy first. Oh yes, I know this young lad, poor soul. He was a frequent guest of my tavern, though he never drank. We had a small agreement, he and I. He worked for me whenever I needed his services, and I directed some clients his way. He was quite popular among local shady clientele, you know, thieves, thugs, and others. Why, your dead scribe was an excellent forger. You didn't know that, did you? Who could want him dead? I don't know. He was harmless, really. I saw him working with Raoul Le Bon, the leader of a local gang. They usually hang around the cemetery. Well, this tavern is included in these letters. Yes, that's a letter written in my name. It was one of the jobs the scribe did for me. Actually, it's one of many letters Antoine was writing for me lately. I wanted to send this one to the owner of an inn located by the road leading to Paris. I'm waiting for a shipment of fine Burgundy wine. Clue number 2. Problem is, it should have arrived many days ago. I lost quite a bit of money on that deal, so I'm trying to find out what happened. Maybe one of my fellow innkeepers heard something. Okay. Bottle of wine with seal. I don't think she's going to know the girl, but it's worth asking. Yeah. I don't believe she would have the money for anything else. The thing is, in our vision, right, this is the innkeeper and that's the cross. So we could ask her about the devotional objects and see if that leads us elsewhere. A young monk came here a couple of months ago with that same cross. It looked valuable, which is why I remember it. I haven't seen him since. Interesting. Right. Let's go to the park. Talk to Raoul. You arrive at the cemetery. It's a hub for lowlifes and misfits. You see a group of thugs carrying barrels and bottles. The bottles are marked with a seal and look exactly like the one you saw in your dream, which is number 2, which is the ones that she lost. 2 thugs notice you and approach, but a man with a roguish smile, which is Raoul, halts them. So, let's... Well, actually, can we... Oh, nothing in this category here. Okay. Chat to Raoul. Well. Who visits Raoul Le Bon in his domain? Are you the gifted man people speak about? You've got quite a reputation, I must say, but I won't let you or your dog wander around my place. This is as far as you go. If you want to go any further, you'll need to pay a toll, or maybe you know our password, eh? Let's talk to our dog. Can I give him a lock of hair? Percival seems agitated. He's barking and running in circles. It seems like he's getting a strong human scent. The person it belongs to isn't here and he can't pick up the trail. Oh, okay. What about the wine? Need to find the object first. Okay, sorry, I was getting ahead of myself. This is sometimes what happens. You're furious for new clues, so you just furiously scan everything. Let's talk to Raoul again. And we'll talk to him about Antoine. I don't trust you enough to share what I know, but if you happen to know the password, have some coin to pay the toll, I might change my mind. Don't think we're going to get any further here. Without knowing the password or coming across some coin. Right. We'll go home. We'll talk to the spy about the monk. He is the right-hand man of Abbot Adam de Vougeot. 15, you can find them both in a manor at Saint Denis, which is D. Okay, that gives us something to work on. I want to find out where the captain, like the sheriff guy, is as well. Sergeant Matthias is known to be ambitious and sometimes ruthless. He has a reputation for being efficient. It's said that his recent promotion to sergeant was due to his connection with Hubert de Clairefontaine, number 13. Who is that? Is that the rich person that's been funding all these expensive things for Antoine? Only time will tell. You arrive at the gates of a grandiose manor. A young Cistercian monk opens the gates but refuses to let you in. The young monk studies you and Percival, then he greets you. Is there anything I can help you with? Devotional objects. Where did you Ah, fine, come in. I think you need to speak with the abbot. The monk lets you inside and leads you to the abbot's chambers. Very well, Mr. Abbot. Welcome to my estate, my friend. What may a humble servant of our Lord and Saviour do for you? Ask him about Antoine. Yes, I hired this young man to do some very special work for me. The chronicle of our abbey was lost, but a skilled man like Antoine could make a replica, which was the book we found. The news about his sudden death is most horrific. God watch over his soul. But I can't really help you solve the mystery. I never spoke with Antoine, but instead delegated everything to the faithful brother Timothy. I only offered my cross as part of the scribe's payment. What do you know about this guy? He's a good servant to our king, but proud and relentless. He may have helped fight the English plague in our lands, but he also took what was not rightfully his. God will judge his actions. For now, though, the royal court will judge our dispute. In the end, lands should, of course, belong to the abbey. Right, I don't think we're going to get any information out of him. So let's talk to our friend, brother Timothy, and ask him about Antoine. He's preparing a copy of a lost chronicle. His death is sad. I met him in the tavern, but later we agreed to meet regularly in the scriptorium. It was usually late at night. I supervised the work and answered any questions Antoine had. Unfortunately, I don't know who might have wanted him dead. What do you know about this girl? I'm not aware of that person. Okay. Can you give us a password for this? Not aware of that person either. Do you know anything else about Antoine's potential affair with Bertrand's wife? Not aware of that person. Okay, you're a great help, brother Timothy. So, Antoine was working on a chronicle for the abbot, which would help secure them more lands, which would take them away from this guy who is quite rich. There's a chance that he could have paid for the box that Antoine had that he put the lock of hair in, but who does the lock of hair belong to? And was Antoine's house in J? It was in K. We've been looking for the wrong place this whole time. Right. That was the missing link that we've been looking for. I thought it was J. It was a K. All of you who are watching at home will have probably been shouting that at me this entire time. I've finally caught up. Okay, let's go to K. When you visit the old tenement house, a householder, 23, informs you there was a fight recently. A guard came, I heard fighting, and a man living in the apartment number 24 ran away. Okay, one of the men from our visions. Put him there. But keep an eye on that dog, I don't need a bigger mess. You can speak with the householder, which is number 23, or investigate the apartment. I mean, we can investigate the apartment first. So we'll search the scene. I'm going to stand up and we'll do this again. Okay. Go do this without the glasses. Okay, bed, clothing. Lots of like pottery equipment. What is that? That's blood? There's a bat. Broken stool. There's the wine. Some kind of flowers. Maybe lavender, barrel. I don't think that window's broken. Okay, so the key thing is the wine there, which definitely has something to do with it. Not too much aside from that. We'll maybe look at furniture. Okay. So, no, we don't need any more time. Clues-wise, what are we going to look for? So, maybe liquids. Melee weapons, definitely. Bedding. Ammo, bags and sacks, games and toys, plants. Parchments and papers, blood, yes. There's no jewellery, footprints and traces, writing tools, books, furniture, clothes, bottles, decorative. I think that should be fine. So, I mean, the first thing we want to be looking at is blood and organs, I think. Small amount of blood marks a place where the cudgel was lying. Number 12. Which is melee. Yeah, melee weapons. A simple cudgel lies on the floor. It's covered with blood. Let's go for furniture. Some furniture is damaged or destroyed. Clear signs of a recent fight. What about that plant? Nothing in this category. Okay. Bedding. Is there anything hidden in the bed? No. I don't think we need to worry about... Well, liquids is going to tell us that that is another case of wine. Nothing in this category here. A bottle made of clay in a wicker basket, a wax seal has been stamped onto the side. We found a bottle of wine with seal. Right. Boxes. They're not here. Okay. That's fine. Let's talk to the house owner. Aren't you that miraculous knight everyone talks about? Wow. Okay, so let's ask you about Antoine. That's horrible. Well, he lived in a room upstairs with his sister, which is number 25. Interest. And her husband, number 24? Number 24. Honestly, I rarely saw him in the apartment, and he often stayed overnight elsewhere. I don't know where. So, this was Antoine's sister. This is Antoine's sister's husband. He's no longer a suspect for us. I doubt this is an incestuous storyline. Lucky Duck, you could be proving me wrong. Interesting. I mean, what can you tell me about her? Jean, that's the scribe's sister. She also lives here with her husband. She's not in her apartment, though. She works in Lord de Clairefontaine's palace on Ile de la Cité. Oh wait, what was that? A? A. Yeah. You know what we should do? We should get the dog to sniff the hair from the box at the scriptorium. You know? So I think she'll be at A. I think that's what we should do. We should take some time to investigate that. What about this guy? Gary ran away after the fight with a guard, and I haven't seen him since. I don't know where he went, but he spends most of his time, most of the day at the local tavern. You should check there, which was N. So we think you could be there, and I think the guard is most likely the guy who works for the rich man. Yeah, he came by asking about Jean. I showed him the apartment and left, and you won't believe what happened next. Shortly after, I heard loud voices and fighting. Then I saw Gary running away and the sergeant chasing him. That was something. They were like rabbits running around a field. What a story. What happened next? I don't know. Haven't seen them since. We'll ask him about Raoul, just in case. Yeah, no, that's fine. Right, just to pacify my curiosity. Let's go to the scriptorium. That's not the scriptorium. Where did we put the scriptorium? Where it actually turns out he was having an affair with the wife. Let's see if I'm right. I flippin' knew it. I flippin' knew it. Percival instantly walks up to Marie. 11. The wife. He stops in front of her, staring intently and emitting a few soft barks. Marie. Marie, I know. I think this is also I don't think it'll trigger that we... Oh, there you go, it does. Yes, this is my hair. It was a gift, you see. There was something between me and Antoine some time ago, but after a while he rejected me, didn't want to see me anymore. I had nothing to do with his death, I swear. I know I shouldn't have gotten involved in a relationship in the first place. Please don't tell my husband about it. He can't control himself when he's jealous. Blunt force object. When did the... Bear with me, right? What if it was the guard, the sergeant guy that killed Antoine with a blunt force object, and they want us to believe that it's Gare because of our vision, because he looks like a rough dude. I don't think Bertrand could have killed him. I think that's a kind of something that's been thrown in to throw us off. Right, very quickly, let's head to the tavern. A man with fresh bruises wearing a bloodstained shirt draws your attention. That is Gare. He has fresh bruises, which is number 5. What do you want? Blood and organs. 05. We know how he got them, but we'll ask him anyway. The sergeant gave me those. Yep. Where is the sergeant? Came to my house and started asking questions about my wife. When I told him to get lost, he started to beat me without warning. I punched him, pushed away, and just ran. We'll ask him about the melee weapon. I believe that could be his cudgel. It's the club the sergeant used to beat the crap out of me. Okay. It's his own fault, always playing smart. Always looking for coin on the side. That's how you end if you desire too much. Besides, I was the one who started his career. I showed him this tavern. Yeah. He might have the password then. Better not mess with people like Raoul. He might not have the password then. The wine. When you show him the bottle, he tells you to hide it immediately. Reassured that no one saw it, he starts to explain. Careful with that, pal. I'll tell you what I know. If you keep quiet, I'm surprised this bottle survived the fight. I sometimes work with Raoul Le Bon, helping with small jobs. The last one was simple, to unload a wagon full of barrels and bottles like this one. I snatched one for myself. It all happened at the cemetery. If you want to speak with Raoul, use our secret password, which is number 3. He'll know you can be trusted. We've got ourselves an inn. Perfect. What about your wife? I think you're... Yeah, she's working. That's fine. Perfect. That's all we need out of him. Let's get to Raoul. We're starting to pick up the pace. Perfect. Let's speak to Raoul. I know your password. Perfect. Scribe is dead. He knew where the money was and never missed an opportunity to earn a little on the side. Yeah, I don't think he would have killed him. I want to know more about this dude, though. You don't know. Okay, what about the sergeant? Sergeant Matthias, people call us thugs, but the real ones are those who claim to be in charge of the city's well-being. He's a bastard, a cheat, and a common sewer rat, not worth dealing with no matter what. I hope you know what I mean. I do. Who did the wine belong to? Yeah, we might have something to do with it. It was Antoine who tipped me off about the shipment and I couldn't refuse. Of course, the scribe took money for that service. He had good business instincts, if you know what I mean. How did he know about the shipment? He was writing the letters that Eloise was sending to some abbey. So Eloise was writing letters to the abbey. The abbey were trying to more or less get one up on this guy, and the Sergeant Matthias works for him. To the tavern. Need to ask her about the abbot. What about him? Ah! What, Captain Matthias? Does he work for you as well? Comes here for a few drinks. Dang it. Right, let's go and find the sister. That might be the way forward. Oh, you arrive at the palace courtyard, but the entrance is guarded. No one is allowed inside. Sergeant Matthias is there talking with the guards. You use the servants' entrance and meet the master of the kitchen, number 19. So Sergeant Matthias is here. Perfect. So let's talk to the master of the kitchen. I have a lot of work in the Lord's kitchen, but I can spare you a moment. Let's ask about the sister. Jean, she's a good girl. I saw her in the palace earlier today, just doing her duties, but then she disappeared, and no one could tell me where. I found her bag here in the kitchen. Here it is. You don't happen to know where this guy lives, by the way? He values my work. I can't complain. Recently he's become occupied with some legal matters, but I don't know any details. I could take you to Lord's chambers if you wish. I think you'd like to speak with a person like you. Come. Bartholomew requests an audience for you and the Lord agrees. Let's check the bag first. No! I can't get in! Can I not look in the bag? Crap. Okay, well, let's chat to the guy. Bring such a famous knight to my palace. The wine. Used to be one of my favourites, now it tastes sour when I drink it because it reminds me of Adam de Vogo, which is the abbot. Truth about the book is simple. Adam ordered a copy of the long-lost Chronicle of the Abbey. The book was being recreated and the text altered, thus allowing the abbot to raise claims to my lands. Put it simply, it's a forgery and I won't let that happen. Should you find the book, beware of the abbot. He will do anything to get it back. So Matthias, good and faithful soldier. I appointed him to the rank of sergeant, hoping the city would benefit from his talents. I expect great things from him. Sergeant Matthias discovered he was involved in criminal dealings. If de Vogo needs to use the services of such people, I don't need to worry. It's just pathetic. The book he was working on is a common forgery, nothing more. So did the abbot order his death? Okay, so I had to take a moment, swap over SD cards and check recording and all that kind of thing. And it's given me some time to think, some time to absorb and ingest all the information that we've gathered so far. Here's what I'm thinking. All roads lead back to the abbot, right? The wine that's been smuggled by Raoul through paperwork from the tavern keeper, through letters that she was, from what it appeared to be, writing to the abbot, the book from the monk, which was to steal land from him, commissioned by the abbot. I think the wife that he was having an affair with, red herring. Can ignore that. I don't think Bertrand, as much as he would get jealous, I don't think he would get jealous enough to murder someone. Originally I thought, because this guy looks sketchy, I thought he was the guy that was murdering it. I think instead, Rich Boy over here has paid, well, has got his soldier lackey to go and kill Antoine in order to hinder the progress of him stealing back the land from, it's just that whole dispute. I think, I'm willing to hedge my bets and hand this case in on that thought. So let's do it. I don't want to talk to the Lord anymore. Oh. There we go. So let's go back home. We're going to solve the case. You're about to solve the game, solve the case and end the game. Are you sure? I think so. Either way, if I get this wrong, it equally means that I can say that I purposely got it wrong, so you guys can play this at home. So let's go for it. Who murdered Antoine? I think it was the captain. blunt force trauma. He was the one, he had the cudgel. What was the motive for the crime? It was I would argue it's the book is probably the best thing to say, because that was what he was forging, and that was what links the abbot and the rich man together. Where did Antoine find new side jobs? Kind of with Raoul. It's Raoul / the tavern. I think it was the tavern, really, wasn't it? Oh, flip. Let me just check the history. Oh. Yeah. Yeah, I think the correct answer, because it seemed like he worked with Raoul, but he didn't get the jobs from Raoul. I think it was actually a tavern keeper. Who provided Heloise with connections to the wine vendor? I think it was the abbot. That's who she was talking about. Who was Gary 24? Who's that? Oh, who was he working for lately? Antoine. No. Yeah. Antoine, kind of. Who was the main political adversary of Adam de Vigo, which is number 15. It's number 13, this guy. I feel like we're kind of doing okay. Who, in your opinion, should receive the illustrated book? Probably the abbot? I don't really know. You're now certain that Sergeant Matthias killed the scribe. Oh, should have said spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. But I guess the whole thing's spoiler alert. But if you don't want to know if I got this right, just stop watching right now. It's okay. Thank you for watching. Feel free to subscribe. Either way, let's continue. You're now certain that Sergeant Matthias killed the scribe. You provided the judges with the murder weapon, which was the cudgel, and the motives that led to his killing. His patron rejected him, and he will face trial without the protection of a noble. Jean, 25, crushed by the sudden death of her brother, decided to abandon her husband and leave Paris for good. She was seen leaving the city with a peculiar illustrated book with her. She has started a new life somewhere else. Although Abbot Adam de Vigo fought fiercely in his legal dispute, he failed to prove his claims over those of powerful Hubert de Clairefontaine. Defeated, he was forced to leave Paris and return to his abbey in Burgundy. We got a score of 55 out of 100. So we were correct in who murdered Antoine. We were right with the motive. We did not get where did Antoine find new side jobs. It was actually number 20. Oh, we said number 20. So it could have been Raoul, who provided Heloise with connections to the wine vendor. We thought that it was the abbot. It wasn't. Who was Gary Poudevin working for lately? I put 18. It could have been Raoul, actually. I just wasn't too sure. Who was the main political adversary of Adam de Vigo? We said 15, or we said 13. We got plus 10 points, which was right. Who, in your opinion, who should receive the illustrated book? I said 15. We got plus 5. It says green, but that was a good one. We got 3 out of 5 on that one. Let's look at the solution, see what the real answers were. So Adam de Vigo, the abbot of l'Abbé Bleu, needed the forged chronicle to strengthen his claims to certain lands and win the judicial dispute with Lord Hubert de Clairefontaine. Sergeant Matthias heard in the tavern about the arrangement between Antoine and brother Timothy. Matthias wanted to get the chronicle in his hands and give it to his patron. His first attempt to take it from the scriptorium was interrupted. The chronicle was nearly finished, missing only a few pages. Antoine, afraid that the sergeant would come again, gave the book to his sister and asked her to hide it. He promised to bring the missing pages the next day, but he never got the chance to write them. The sergeant tried to get the book once more. Antoine wouldn't tell him what happened to the book, and there was a fight. The sergeant used his cudgel, hoping to get answers by force, and an unfortunate blow to the scribe's head proved fatal. The Chronicle was nowhere to be found, so the sergeant continued searching, using the investigation as a cover. We got that much. He targeted Antoine's family but couldn't find the book. Both Gary and Jean were able to avoid being captured. Ultimately, all the evidence proves the sergeant's guilt. He now faces trial for murder, and connections in high places won't help him. The good thing is that we were right in who murdered him. We got the big nuggets of information right. It was just those little other secondary and tertiary kind of parts to the puzzle that we didn't get correct. But folks, that was The Missing Pages. I hope you've enjoyed it. This is going to be a super long video as we played through this. I hope it's been enjoyable. I would highly recommend it if you're looking for a brilliant solo game, if you're looking for a really good game to play with family and friends over the holiday period, if you're allowed to meet and play board games with family and friends over the holiday period. Chronicles of Crime, whether the original version or this version, if you can get your hands on it. I think it is out in retail now. Fantastic games. I could not recommend this game enough. It is a brilliant brain teaser. It's amazing fun. Go out and pick it up if you're into these kinds of games. Thank you so much for watching. If you would love to see more Chronicles of Crime playthroughs, let me know down in the comments. And equally, let me know if any of you have picked up this game as well, or if you backed a Kickstarter. But folks, until next time, have a great rest of your week. I'll speak to you all very, very soon.